How do I get over the shame of being rejected by a guy who used and ghosted me? Yeah, I'm sorry that happened. It is unfortunately very common. Maybe less in reverse, but it happens both directions, and that sucks. I'm sorry that was something that you went through. It's going to be difficult because you'll have placed some of your self-worth into this person, and the fact that they didn't choose you is going to make you feel unworthy. You're going to wish that if only you'd been better, or you're going to think if only I'd been more bigger, if I'd been more electric or more alluring in some way, then they would have stayed. They wouldn't have rejected me. They wouldn't have used me. And then they would have, at the very least, given me the respect to have said, this is over or whatever. It's going to be really hard to get past the emotional side of this. So I can give you a logical answer, which is, if you've been rejected by a guy who used and ghosted you, if he's the sort of guy that uses and ghosts you, that's not rejection. That's a very fortunate early warning system from somebody that has a psychological makeup that you would not want to be in a relationship with long term. Like, that is not the sort of guy that you want. Is that the sort of son that you would want? Absolutely not. Okay, your kids are going to be made up of the genetics of the partner that you choose. Do you want those genes? Would you have preferred that he'd stayed with you being the sort of guy that could use and ghost you? I'm going to guess that he's a little bit younger. Unfortunately, this is the peril of dating in your 20s. I mean, I will hold my hand up. I did that to girls. I did that when I was in my 20s because I wasn't brave enough to tell them what I meant, which was, I don't want to be with you, or this is over, or that was something that was casual, not something that was long-term. And maybe I did or didn't. Maybe it was wishful thinking on your part, or maybe I even was a little bit obfuscatory about what my intentions were and made you think that it was going to be longer term. Like, these are just the things that both parties do when they're so scared about telling the truth and they don't know how to open up. So it's not a rejection if it's somebody that you would have hated being in a relationship long term. You've been saved by the fact that this guy behaved that way. The shame comes from feeling like, I need to make myself more or different in order to be loved in future, because I evidently wasn't enough this time. And if I don't change myself, it's just going to happen again. I would say what the issue was there was bad partner choice, not an issue of you. Now, you may be awful, but the used and ghosted thing, like, that isn't a you thing, that's a them thing. So trying to remember, your goal is not to find somebody, your goal is to find somebody who will treat you right as you, not to make yourself into the sort of person that someone who would reject, use, and ghost you won't do, simply because you've sort of super squirrel fucking like Jedi mind tricked them into seeing you as somebody else. Your goal should be to be as unapologetically yourself in a relationship and have that be chosen by the other person, because anything short of that is going to result in you playing some sort of a role, or curbing off different parts of yourself, or making yourself smaller, or making yourself bigger, having to perform, and that's just not good. So I hope that helps. Any advice for women your age trying to navigate dating life? I'm 37. Women trying to navigate dating life at 37 is fraught, because presuming that they haven't got something they're bringing along with them, like kids or divorce or whatever, or even if they have the divorce thing, as long as it's not kids, it's a minefield out there, because there is this sense of needing to hurry up that you're going to have to go through. And even if you have got kids, you're like, fuck, like I really want it. I want it to be the thing. I want it to be the relationship for the rest of time. I would be uncompromising with what it is that you, like 2 or 3 things that you really, really want. I want a partner who is peaceful. I want a partner who makes me feel safe. I want a partner who can provide for me financially. Sick. All right. He doesn't get to be 6 foot. You don't get to complain about his body. You don't get to complain about his education. Like, if you are 37 as a woman, if you're any age, that you really shouldn't have more than about 3 things that are fucking super, super non-negotiables, because you've all seen that whole math, like delusion calculator thing for women. It's like, how tall does he need to be? And what's his body fat percentage? And how much does he need to earn? And before you know it, you're down to 0.5% of the entire population from a small number of things. I would say pick the things that really matter and learn to be flexible about the other ones. I would prioritize something like psychological stability. So how long after you've had a psychological perturbment are they able to get back to baseline and be calm? That's real important. Are they loyal? Are they trustworthy? Do they make you feel safe? Like, when you're around them, do you feel regulated, or are you uncertain? Can they communicate their feelings well? Like, all of these things, like, are so fucking accessible and really predictive of long-term relationship success. And most people are optimizing for other things. They're optimizing for how tall they are. They're optimizing for what their education level is, or they're optimizing for like the car that they drive, or like even other stupid things, like how cool they are. Like, oh, he's, cool. Coolness is basically extroversion plus openness to experience. And like energy, I suppose, like high energy vibe. You go, all of those things, really, really great. Totally non-predictive when it comes to your partner. In fact, you want a partner that's a little bit less open to experience. You want a partner who's like just moderately open to experience, because too open to experience causes them to stray and look for other partners. So pick a small number of non-negotiables, stick to those, be flexible with the other ones, focus on the things that predict relationship success long-term. Tai Toshiro's got a great book on this. So has, not Scott Barry Kaufman, not Steve Stewart Williams. Fuck. Who was the dude that did Don't Trust Your Gut and Everybody Lies? Seth Stevens Davidowitz, choosing like all the fucking triple barrel Jewish names that I can think of. Seth Stevens Davidowitz, Don't Trust Your Gut. Wonderful book. What are the predictive areas that you should be looking for? Merge those with your own preferences. You're off to the races. In other news, this episode is brought to you by Function. Did you know that your annual physical only screens for around 20 biomarkers, which leaves a ton of gaps when it comes to understanding your health, which is why I partnered with Function. They run lab tests twice a year that monitor over 100 biomarkers. They even screen for 50 types of cancer at stage 1. And then they've got a team of expert physicians that take the data, put it into a simple dashboard, and give you actionable recommendations to improve your health and lifespan. They track everything from your heart health to your hormone levels and your thyroid function. Getting your blood work drawn and analyzed like this would usually cost thousands, but with Function, it is only $499. And for the first 1,000 Modern Wisdom listeners, you get $100 off, making it only $399. So right now you can get the exact same blood panels that I get and save $100 by going to the link in the description below or heading to functionhealth.com/modern wisdom. That's functionhealth.com/modern wisdom. Look, you made it to the end of the video. Seeing as you're still here, why don't you check out this right here? Go on.